In this video, I'd like to share with you how to dig a mortise only by hand tools. To begin with, secure the stock on the bench. Make sure to clamp the stock near the bench legs. Then, I will get my just sharpened 18mm chisel ready. All edged tools must be nice and sharp so that you can save time and effort. The first thing to do is cut the wood fiber on the surface to prevent it from chipping off. Place the chisel on the short end of the mortise with the back side of the chisel facing outside, and then tap lightly. To get better control, you can hold the neck of the blade instead of the handle. The long sides of the mortise do not require this because they have already been cut with a marking gauge. Then I'm going to dig a hole that is a little bit smaller than the actual hole. Place the chisel 1mm inside of the short end and then tap and cut the fiber. Move the chisel to the center of the mortise and hold it on an angle with its backside facing up. And then tap the chisel and remove the surface to the depth where it's just being cut in the last process. Tap the chisel on the 1mm line again to make it deeper. And then cut again from the center of the mortise. You have to make sure not to cut deeper than the depth you have cut just now. After repeating the same action several times, I will do the same thing to the other end. You can turn the stock around if it is easier for you. You might feel that digging is getting harder as you go deeper. If this is the case, frequently leave the chisel like this. The waste will break automatically along the grain. You don't need to try too hard to cut it out. You have to be careful not to damage the corner of the surface. They should always be nice and clean for both structural and aesthetic reasons. Now I have successfully dug a hole that is 1 mm smaller than the actual size. I'm going to remove the 1 mm waste all around. The short ends have to be done first. I'm gonna cut the corners in a V shape. The other end is going to be cut in V shape too. Next, I will get rid of the middle part. Then I will clean the long edges. When doing this, you have to watch how the timber grain is running, because this will affect the direction the chisel should proceed in. Have a look at this picture. If you want to clean the top edge of this mortise, you need to start cutting from the right corner. If you start from the left corner, the chiseled side edge will cut deep into the grain, triggering cracking. This may have a bad effect on the overall structure. When you clean the bottom edge of the mortise, on the other hand, you have to move your chisel from left to right. A beautifully flattened backside of a chisel will work as a cutting guide. For the last finish, you can get better control by holding the chisel only by hand. I can guess your next question will be how to flatten the bottom. To be honest, it's practically impossible to make the bottom nice and flat only by chiseling. All we can do is make the bottom as flat as possible by repeating the tapping and short levering of the chisel. It's okay as long as the mortise is a bit deeper than the tenon's length of 25 mil. To check the depth, a sliding square is very handy. You can check the depth and the angle at the same time with a sliding square. The inside walls have to be cut straight and at a right angle, otherwise the tenon will end up leaning. However, you cannot check the long sides with a sliding square because the mortise is not big enough to accommodate it. What should we do then? All we can do is gaze at the inside walls to check if they are cut properly. If the bottom of the walls is still coming inside, it needs to be cut nice and straight.